Hey guys, Old Guy Gaming here, back again with another MTG Arena video, and tonight we're going to be doing the inevitable mono-red Cavalcade. So, if nothing else, I have been on the bandwagon for this deck for quite some time, and Throne of Eldraine did add some additional stuff. So I know that it is the bane of Arena's existence right now, but I feel like it's pretty much the only way that mono-red can play right now. There is some rumbling as to whether or not we will lose Cavalcade in the emergency ban. I thought that was interesting because I sat there and watched all my videos that I put up last week where I was talking about cards that were going to get banned, and Cavalcade and Field of the Dead were on that list, and then nothing happened. But then 2 days later, they announced that there's going to be another ban coming at the end of the month. So this may be my last chance to play it before it gets banned out of existence. So let's go ahead and take a look at the deck in case you have not seen this one. Everyone's got their own variety. Everyone's got their own flavor. A little bit of, nutmeg. Some people put a little bit of basil into it. Here's where I went with this. And so Fervent Champion was one of the first ones that I saw from Throne of Eldraine that said this has to go in. First of all, it's got First Strike, which is fantastic against the mirror match. Has haste, and whenever it attacks, it gets a +1/+1 to another knight. Now, normally that doesn't come into play unless you have another Fervent Champion in play, but that +1/+1 happens after the Cavalcade trigger, so that kind of works out. And then you can equip equipment. We're not using him for those purposes. Scorch Spitter, everyone knows, 1/1. Whenever it attacks, it does 1 damage. It's really good for feeding the Chandra Spitfire. 4 Shocks, because it did get reprinted in M20. 4 10th Street Dodgers. I love the ability that can't be blocked. One of the varieties I toyed with on this one was putting in a couple of Ginger Brutes as well, because Ginger Brute was one of those other ones that couldn't be blocked. And I found a lot of situations where I was wishing that creatures I had couldn't be blocked. Just to be able to get the Cavalcade triggers going off, because it only triggers when you attack. So, but ultimately in the end, because of another card that got added, I removed him and kept with Torch Courier. This one comes into play on occasion, but when it comes into play, it's fantastic. You can first of all, it's a 1/1 with haste, as pretty much everything is in this deck. But you can sacrifice him to make another creature gain haste until end of turn. Now, the only thing that's genuinely worth doing that for is Chandra Spitfire. So you get the opportunity to occasionally sacrifice him, give it to Chandra Spitfire, then Chandra Spitfire goes in for the win. Of course, as we've talked about at nauseum, I know you guys have seen this card, Cavalcade of Calamity. We've seen so many. Like, I'm really surprised because this is a Ravnica Allegiance card, and it's been there this whole time, but it's really surprising that people are really kind of keying in on this one. But there is another card that kind of helped this one out. But basically, whenever a creature you control with power 1 or less attacks, it does 1 damage. This stacks up immensely as you continue to attack with all these 1/1 hasters. I run with Chandra's Triumph, so everyone's kind of got their own card to fill in this one. My thought process on this one is simply this. Chandra's Triumph basically is a lightning strike. It does 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls. It doesn't attack a target, so you can't attack the player, and that's kind of okay. However, if Chandra's Triumph deals 5 damage if you control Chandra's planeswalkers, which obviously we're going to have Acolyte of Flame in there. And then whenever you attack in Torbran a little bit later on down the line, this could potentially be 7 damage to a planeswalker or a creature in play for 2 mana. So this for me is the hands down reason why I take this one over all the other 2 mana do 3 damage kind of cards that are floating out there. This is the one here that I feel is the optimal build for this. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments down below. Chandra, we've already talked about. If you haven't seen her, 3 mana, 4 loyalty. Basically, the only thing she's going to be here for is her 0 that creates 2 1/1 elemental tokens with haste. Occasionally, you can -2 her to go ahead and pull a spell out of your graveyard and be able to cast it. That can be a fantastic ability whenever it comes in. Chandra Spitfire, of course, being the... I don't know that you necessarily need the card to win, but oh boy, is it fantastic when it goes off. It basically gains a lightning bolt every single time damage is done to your opponent. If they don't have anything to block flying, this is going to win you the game, flat out. You're going to need some way to refill your hand because you're going to burn through it relatively quick for light up the stage. And then, of course, the other addition from Throne of Eldraine, Torbran, Thane of the Redfell. It's a 2/4, which is above Lightning Strike, or anything of those 3 damage, 2 damage kind of things for 4 mana. If a red dwarf you control will do damage to an opponent, it does an additional 2. This is gross when in combination with Cavalcade of Calamity. So basically that's a lightning bolt every single time. It's really funny when it happens. The mana base is relatively simple, 17 ones. I went with Dwarven Mine. Dwarven Mine because it's actually it's a free creature. It's a free 1/1 creature if you get it into the mid to the late games. Otherwise, it's a tap mana, and then most of the stuff in here you don't really need the mana for anyway because it's all really low casting cost. But the occasions where you do get the free dwarf, it's fantastic. So let's go off and play some games with this one. I feel sort of dirty playing this deck, but I like it. I think there is something to be said for fast aggro and fast burn decks. Especially when they get under control decks. I mean, they are the hard counter to control decks. They really are, because they get in there and they do enough damage relatively quickly to be able to get over past all the counter spells and all the life gain that they're going to have later on down the line. And the board wipes, well, I mean, you board wipe this list, it gets kind of painful relatively quick. We will keep that. Ooh. Oh, potentially. We're looking at fish, going to be running. So we're going to go ahead and go with Scorch Spitter. Looks like we're potentially running against a mirror match against another mono red deck. There's the shock. That's fine. And it does look like mono red. Makes me wish I had my shock. As I say, I'm going to assume this is the other way to run mono red, and I do want to build that one. Just the mono red elemental stack, you can absolutely pull that off. It still does a lot of the same things that mono red did in the previous meta before rotation, with Steamkin still being a big deal. Ooh, that's pretty big. And you're going to Bone Crusher Giant. This is a nice build. I like this. So where do we want to go from here? Let's get the Spitfire down. So then the question becomes, do we go Torbran first? I think we do. Nope. We'll go ahead and take that 3. And he's gonna cast it anyway. Slaying Fire is the other one that people recommend doing. Wow, see, this is a good counter to this deck. Alright. So, how do we want to pull this off? Let's go ahead with the Spitfire first. And the Scorch Spitter. If he doesn't have answers for this, at least gives me Torbran to be able to cast out and be able to fight back a little. So this is the one that would most likely run... oh, very nice. That's not what I thought he was going to do. Oh, jeez. This might be a mono red deck I have to steal. Look at this one. No, I'm good. So let's go ahead and drop him. We're going to hold. A Cavalcade would be amazing right now. My goodness, Slaying Fires everywhere. Well, I'm dead no matter what. So let's go ahead and block the Steamkin. Yeah, he's definitely... This is definitely the anti-red deck. So good for this deck. Let's drop that. We need some blockers at this point to even hope to stay alive. And this is a mono red deck that's doing it without Cavalcade. Yep, I'm gonna have no other choice here. I think he's got this game sufficiently in hand. Yep, and that is gonna be it. Look at that. We're gonna say good game. Well, I've got one of my dailies is to attack with as many creatures as possible, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that first so that I can actually get that out of the way, and then we'll say good game. So, alright, so there was a mono red deck to beat this one. Holy cow, was that fast. Very nice. I might have to borrow that deck build. That was really cool. A non-Cavalcade mono red deck. I was just saying it lost a lot of the key pieces. Obviously, it had some cool stuff to add into it. What do we have? Vestica. I like that. All good things. I wonder if they're going to continue to put us up against other mono red players. That'll be an interesting video. Here's mono red losing to mono red. 10 Street Dodger. Out the door. There we go. Even better. So if we want to, I'm going to be able to get to do the thing I said I wanted to do. So we are going to cast Chandra Spitfire. We're going to sacrifice Torch Courier to give the Spitfire haste. There we go. And we are off and running. My suspicion is I'm going to see... Okay, I guess the next words that were going to come out of my mouth was going to be a deafening clarion, but that obviously didn't happen. Woohoo, we got free stuff. So let's keep going. I'm only going to run this one for about 20 minutes. You guys have seen this deck. You know what it does. You know what you know basically the tactics and strategies of people using it and how frustrating it can be to play against this deck sometimes. There are plenty of decks though. That's the upside to this, is there's so many people that are frustrated with this deck that they are building to beat it. Okie dokie, what you got, my friend? Dimmu. Dimmu. I like that. Makes me think Dimir. He's certainly taking his time. There we go. So why do I go with the Scorch Spitter first? I go with the Scorch Spitter first because it gives me the opportunity. He's going to lay down maybe nothing here. And then on the next turn, basically, I'm going to do 4 damage right out of the gate. Because these two will come down. It'll be 1, 2, 3, 4 damage right out of the gate. And that's really important. That goose has got to go. So it'll be 3 damage off the gate because I'm going to shock that. Because I do not want him to have ramp. No, I do not. Because this green deck gets really scary really fast. Just see my previous video. I did a really fun video. I can't possibly imagine he is going to block with this. But now we've got 2 Fervent Champions. You at least get to see that combo go off because they will aid each other. Yep, see, that's a ton of fun. So, ooh, interesting. Savvy Hunter. Which one's he going to go to the block? Don't do the first striker. Don't do the first striker. Don't do the first striker. He did the first striker. So now he's going to lose it. You might as well get the card draw out of it because it is going to go. So he's down to 5. We might potentially have him here. We have a Cavalcade. If a Cavalcade comes out, we're good. Sure, take one of those. I understand. No, not a Cavalcade, but that would have been nice. Let's get damage where we can get damage. Because he's going to end up blocking here. He's still going to be... He's still dead. He's still taking all the damage. Good game, sir. Yep, so that is what this deck can do. That is what it's supposed to do. And it did it without Cavalcade. So, I mean, even if they did ban the card, you could still do a red rush deck, I think. I think it's clearly less effective if it doesn't have Cavalcade. Wait, we've played 2 games now. We've played 2 full games, and I haven't had Cavalcade once. Yeah, ideally you would have... Your ideal hand would be a Scorch Spitter, Cavalcade, and Chandra Spitfire in your opening hand. That would be your ideal hand. Ooh, do I keep a 1-lander? Sure. Because nothing in my hand here costs more than 2 mana, and worst case scenario, I've got to light up the stage, I can go and pull more. I'm kind of okay with this one. In case you were wondering what I was thinking. That's because I've got... Not perfect. Because I have the light up in the stage in my hand, I can potentially go fishing for another land. So, blue-white. This looks like it might be control. Yep, ideally we're going to hit a 3rd land, but we do not. I'm more interested in doing damage now. Ooh, there was my little update saying, hey, I need to update such and such software. That's always nice for that to come up. So next turn I will most likely go for light up the stage so that I can get some land drawdown. Because I really want Torbran down. Taking his time. We're going to go Fervent Champion to get the other call down. And now we get the added benefit of the 2 Fervent Champions down. Oh god, this deck's so dumb. And we'll shock for the win. So dumb. That is this deck. That is what it does. That went so fast. I was actually hoping to get, like, I was hoping this was going to be the last one, but we'll go ahead. We want to hit 20 minutes at least for each video. We'll go one more time. There we go. We earned all our XP today. Alright, let's go one more time. Last game with mono red. Every time I say that, that usually means I get my butt kicked next. So. Ooh, and someone liked one of my videos. Just now as we were recording. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you. All the good things. There's a lot to be said about the... Ooh, is this a mill deck? It most certainly is. Yeah, I think I'm going to get the thing out of the way. Having a 1-2 in the way is going to be a problem. The mill... I have almost everything I need in my hand. Genuinely. Ugh. Almost everything I need genuinely in my hand to deal with this deck. Yep. What do we lose? Yep, there we go. Alright, so we're definitely going to go Scorch Spitter. We're definitely going to go Strange Street Dodger. We're definitely going to drop the Dwarven Mine. Because we've got Chandra Spitfire in our hand. Overwhelmed Apprentice, cool. We've got answers to them. And that's a really cool card to add in there because it is a 1-2 blocker. It can absolutely take care of a lot of this stuff. I am going to go Chandra Spitfire. I need to get that down. Am I willing to lose anything here? No. She's the one that goes and draws cards. I will give him credit. He is milling through that deck relatively quickly. It's going to get painful for him moving forward. So we're going to do that. We are going to attack him. Yep. I was going to shock him, too, to make sure to add into all the fun. That's 20 minutes of Mono Red Burn, in case you haven't seen it, or Mono Red Cavalcade. I do hope you liked the video. Like, subscribe, always helps me out with the channel. Do appreciate it. We do have a goal for the end of the year of hitting 1,000 subscribers. It'd be fantastic if you wouldn't mind. If you have better ideas for this deck, or if you have a better Mono Red deck like that one we faced in the first game, let me know in the comments down below. If I like the list, I definitely will give credit where credit is due, and maybe you can play with me online and show me how the deck is played. So in the meantime, guys, we shall see you again in the next video, and we shall always see you in the arena. This video was brought to you in no small part by our patrons. If you would like to help out the channel, go to www.patreon.com/oldguygamingmtga, and thank you for your support.